From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. I am Nick Barris here on a Monday. I indeed hope you fared well throughout the past 2 or 3 days with all the snow coming through and the ice, and you stayed home and stayed in. But today it's warming up, and hopefully things will clear up. You know how I know that things are getting better on the roads? Our guest was able to make it in this morning. It was a different story last week. But we're back today. We're going to open up the phone lines for you in a moment, and we're going to talk about an interesting idea, I think, that is gaining traction with regard to cigarettes, smoking, limits that maybe can be placed in some ways, if you want to look at it as limits, on trying to reduce the number of young people that start smoking. Because the truth is, if you started smoking when you were 30 or 40, you're a moron. Okay, no one starts smoking when they're older. All right, do you? You don't, because you know better. What they got to do is get the hook in you early, and then you're addicted, and then you're a customer for life, which is going to be significantly shorter than if you don't smoke. All right, I think it's pretty clear how I feel about this. And if I just called you a moron, I apologize. But who starts smoking at 40 and 50? No one. Find me someone that starts smoking at 40 or 50. The number 737-7587. And my guest is much more level-headed than I am. Senator James Jim Tracy. I understand your father's watching this morning.
He is watching.
I am pleased to hear this. Good morning to Jim.
Yeah.
You're his namesake.
That's exactly right.
Well, I'm honored to have him watching.
He likes to watch Nicholas, he says.
Well, he's right. That's my name.
I'm glad to be with you. This is really an important issue and something I've been looking at for a long time. I was the sponsor of the non-smoking bill in 2007, and this is consistent with what we did with that bill in 2007.
Which is, again, we're looking at raising the age to legally buy cigarettes from
18 to 21. Now, after talking to doctors over the summertime, I met with some doctors, and they gave me some statistics. You've talked about it. Younger people's brain, if you're under the age 20 or 21, your brain is more susceptible to be addicted to nicotine. So if you get a young person started at age 18 addicted to nicotine, therefore they're going to go more further in their life and smoke or use tobacco products. Also, from talking to folks in the education world, you have 16, 17-year-olds that are friends with 18-year-olds. Very few 16, 17-year-olds are friends with 21-year-olds. So therefore, your 18-year-olds can go purchase.
You can have some 18-year-olds still in high school.
Correct. And they can go purchase the tobacco products and then move it down the line to 15, 16, 17-year-olds. So I just think it makes good sense health-wise, and it's just the right thing to do.
Why do you think, historically speaking, I don't know if you've looked into this, the age was set at 18 for cigarettes? Okay, we all know what the age is for drinking. Okay, we know for various other things. I know you can vote at 18, you can go fight for your country at 18, you can't buy a beer at 18. So why do you think cigarettes was separated from, say, alcohol products?
Not really certain.
What would your guess be? What do you think? I have some
they
guesses
just felt
on that.
like at my age, when I was growing up, it was not uncommon for young people to be smoking.
Right. They didn't know.
I just don't think they knew the dangers of it, and I don't think it's been changed.
And would you agree with me? I mean, in general, most people that are smokers likely started younger in life, as opposed to, honestly, I mean, I think statistics would prove out very few people just abruptly say, hey, you know what, I'm going to start smoking. I'm 50 years old. I mean, how many first-time 50-year-old smokers are there? I mean, there just can't be many of them.
Not many. All the statistics I've looked at, they do start smoking at a younger age in their teenage years, become addicted, and then move forward and continue. And it's harder, depending on people's personality, the harder it is to break that habit.
What are you up against in doing this? It does sound to me like it makes a lot of sense. I agree with this. Okay, I think that makes sense to me. What is the opposition to this?
I'm sure the tobacco industry won't like it. I mean, you've got the e-cigarettes now that are a new phenomenon, and they have all the different flavors of, and it's supposed to be safer, but it's still nicotine. You're still getting nicotine in your system, and nicotine is a restrictor, and it increases your blood pressure and causes heart problems and so forth. So it'll be interesting to see if the tobacco folks really work hard against this. I just think it's the right thing to do. It's the healthy thing to do. It's the common sense thing to do.
Other states are looking at this?
Other states are looking at it. Hawaii's already passed it. There's other other cities, from what I've looked at, other cities across the country, maybe not whole states, but cities have passed it. States are looking at it right now.
Okay, so to go to 21 would be the move. Now, where is it right now? Is this something you're proposing this legislative session then, right?
That's correct. We're going to try to put it on notice as soon as possible.
You have some sponsors, folks that you've talked to, colleagues of yours that are on board?
Yes, Dr. Ramsey is my sponsor in the House.
Okay.
He is a dentist from up in Blount County, and he's willing to do it and very excited about it. He's just gone through a procedure himself with his heart, so he's very aware of what we're doing. So that's really all we've done. We'll start putting it on notice. Anyone that I'm looking forward to the phone calls today, if anyone has any ideas about it, and I'll be glad to discuss that if they will contact their legislators. We need all the help we can get.
It's Senate bill, Rick is telling me 1973, I guess.
1973.
By the way, does this apply to all tobacco products? Would it be chewing tobacco as well, cigars?
All tobacco products.
Loose tobacco. Okay, so all tobacco products would go from 18 to 21. It's funny, as a non-smoker, I don't think about it. Maybe in the back of my mind, I just assumed cigarettes you had to be 21 to buy. I hadn't thought about it in years, and I know better, but I just assumed it was older, which is where I think it belongs.
I agree. I just don't think we've thought about it. I think you bring that out. We assume since the drinking age is 21, we just assume the smoking age. So yes, I think for all tobacco products, whether it be chewing tobacco, whether it be cigars, whether it be the e-cigarettes, we want to move the age from 18 to 21.
I'm looking at some of the statistics. Tobacco use is the leading cause of preventable death and preventable death and disease in the country. 90% of all tobacco users, I guess, started using the product before they were 19 years of age. And if you raised the age to 21, they say it would prevent 223,000 premature deaths every year.
That's correct.
Something like that as it builds up.
11,400 die each year in Tennessee of tobacco.
Holy cow.
That's what the statistics I have, and 24% of Tennesseans smoke today.
You've never smoked?
Not cigarettes, really.
Once in a blue moon, a celebratory cigar, but what about as a child? What did your dad do?
Well, I can remember, he may not remember this, when I was 7 years old, I remember we had some family friends over, and my dad didn't smoke, but this person did, and I was intrigued by it. I was 7. I said, Dad, I don't really want to smoke. He said, that's fine. Let's go out back and I'll let you smoke. And he made me smoke that whole cigarette as fast as I could inhale it. I was as sick as I could. I still remember that sick feeling.
That cured you of it.
And it cured me. I didn't want to do it. And then I chewed tobacco riding a bicycle when I was about 15.
Yep.
Got home and I remember laying down in the bed and everything was just swirling. And my dad come in and said, what's wrong with you? I had to tell him, and he just started laughing. He said, you'll learn.
Absolutely.
So after that, I really had no desire to do that. And so hopefully that people will support this legislation because it is the healthy thing to do, and it's just the right thing to do.
Now, again, of course, Tennessee, Kentucky, states like that are traditionally tobacco states, are they not? And I get the sense here in Tennessee things and across the country have changed a bit, but I mean, does that make it more difficult to pass something like that here in Tennessee than, say, as you said, Hawaii, which has already passed it?
It shouldn't. Tobacco is a big deal. It used to be a big agricultural crop in Tennessee, not as big today. Kentucky, it's still a big product there. I'll tell you an interesting story. Senator Adams, she is a state senator from up around Louisville. She's sponsoring the non-smoking bill for the whole state of Kentucky. She and I have had conversations about that bill. She wanted to know how we did it.
Sure.
I sent her a copy of the legislation we did. So Kentucky's beginning to move forward, and that's a big tobacco state.
That's the biggie. But I just wonder, I mean, and again, it makes sense to me, but you cut out 3 years worth of cigarette sales by doing what you're suggesting. That's millions of dollars that the tobacco industry will lose, and I'm not shedding a tear for them. But then you know how it trickles down, and you're someone who pays attention to business. You're a Republican in this state, which is predominantly Republican. But then, okay, you lose that type of revenue. What does that mean for jobs and the people that work, and that kind of trickle down effect?
Correct, and also you're going to lose the sales tax off.
Well, right. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm bringing this up because it's something that may come up to challenge it to some degree. As I said, I don't have a problem with it, but is that a factor?
Not really. If you compare the factor of how much we're losing, lost production on work, Also, we're losing $823.6 million in Medicaid costs because of smoking or tobacco. So I think it costs us a whole lot more money if you look at it that way.
Oh, I agree.
And
That's
the
a
health
good
issues, people that are having heart problems, blood pressure problems, on medication because of tobacco.
Bottom line, too, it saves lives.
Saves lives.
Can you put a price on that? Listen, Senator, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll open up the phone lines. If you're on hold, we've got several people that were there, Joe, John, and others. If you want to come in, 737-7587. Your take on this, your thoughts, or if you have a story you want to share to us about something that you've dealt with tobacco, or certainly just maybe the challenge you've gone through trying to quit once you've started. It's addicting and it's tough, and that's the key. Once they hook you when you're a teen, it's real hard to turn around and stop. So we'll take a break, be back with more about this legislation, maybe tobacco as a whole in the state of Tennessee, and your phone calls right after this.
M&A